Get a Job in Tech, episode 318. Today, I got a call from a company for a job, basically, and which is great. But the thing is, I wonder if this is how it works. Let's say you work at McDonald's and you work at Walmart, one of those jobs, and those jobs are entry level in some cases, and if you're excited about leaving, and you're going to pretty much go to any position because you don't want to work in McDonald's or Walmart, basically, because you may or may not see a future in that. So you're going to decide accordingly. And I think what's harder is when you have a job and you like it and you like the people you work with, and you get along and you kind of fit in you're a cog in the wheel, basically. It's very hard to come up with a mindset to change. And I think that's everything, really. I think a lot of people feel that, like, do I want to move? Let's say, for instance, it's a job and I have to move for the job, but it pays another $50,000 a year. Let's just say, do I want to do that? So you kind of like, I don't want to do that. And now if you have a family, if you don't have a family, maybe it makes it easier for you. I think it depends on where you see yourself. So, and I also think it depends on how many years you worked at a certain company. If you already worked 10 years at a company and what you're going to throw it away, it's kind of comfort zone, really. I think that's mainly it right there. I think that's why a lot of people don't go into IT or go into tech, is because it's comfort zone. And I guess the solution would be to get a second job that's in tech. For instance, you have the benefit of the job you have now, but then you have the second job, which is giving you into the same, let's say, same tech field. Maybe you work at McDonald's. It's probably different from a mindset if you work at McDonald's than if you already work in a tech job and you're trying to get a different tech job. And what you may want to do is, a strategy is to take off 2 weeks. Let's say you have 2 weeks of vacation or whatever, and just take 2 weeks off of work. And let's say, for instance, your current job, you're going to take off 2 weeks, and you say, okay, I can start in 2 weeks. But the thing is, you're working those 2 weeks, and then the 2 weeks that you are on vacation from your, let's say, job A, you're working at job B, and just to see if you like it. And if you don't like it, then you can just go back to job A, and it's fine. And that's maybe that's what people do. Not sure. That seems like a good idea, though. Yeah. I think companies are going to have to, they're not going to have to do anything. They're companies, they do what they want. But I think it would be really nice if companies they didn't have a problem with 2 jobs. Like if you had 2 jobs and they pretty much welcomed it, as long as you don't have any trade secrets or whatever that you give out, like the Coca-Cola's secret recipe or KFC's secret recipe, something like that. But in the tech job, ideally, it's probably a good idea to have a second job. And I think companies are going to adopt that going in the future. They just have to get around the overtime thing, where they will pay for your overtime, and like if they have a second job, if they have 2 positions in their company that you're qualified for, and how would that work, right? No idea how that would work. Yeah, so the option is, and I think maybe more and more you're probably going to see 1099 stuff like that. But in tech, if you're a programmer, it's a little easier because you're a project, whereas if you're like a sysadmin, those typically, I haven't really seen a lot of those jobs out there, or the 1099 jobs. And if you're a sysadmin, that means you have a lot of years of experience, and you have like a vendor cert, essentially, like a specific vendor certification as a sysadmin, that they're hiring you just for that thing, and then you go away. So they maybe 1099 you for a week or 2 weeks and then you go away. But the downside of that is you don't have steady income. I guess what I'm saying is having a second job, you feel content. Like, oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. I've been in this job 10 years. I'm fine. So you don't want to apply anywhere else. What would it take, right? I think the thing is, what would it take for you to leave your current position? How much money would you need to have to be, if you already work from home and you make six figures already, just six figures, 100K, and you work from home and you have a nice job, et cetera, and you're on autopilot, so to speak, what would it take for you to leave? Ask yourself that question. What dollar amount really would it take for you to figure in how much you make right now, hourly rate, and after taxes, and then what would you make working for this other job after taxes? What's the difference? If you're a two income, if you have a family and let's say you have two incomes, and you want to retire your partner, your spouse, whatever, what would it take to get their salary essentially? So let's say, for instance, your spouse, your partner, whatever, makes $60K a year, and you make $100,000 a year. So essentially, what would it take? So $60K after taxes is, whatever that is, $40,000. I don't know. Let's say. So you'd have to make an extra $40,000 after tax. So you'd have to make after taxes, whatever you make now, 100K minus taxes is 75, I think, or 80. Let's say 80, and then it's more than that, but let's say 80,000 after taxes, and then their salary is 40,000 after taxes. Let's say, so 120,000. So you have to make 120,000 after taxes. So that would mean you'd have to make like 150 or 160 a year, roughly. Yeah, for that income, and if that's work from home, of course. And factor in if you're work from home and they're not, or they're work from home and you're not, factor that in. The hours that you spend driving, that they spend driving to and from work, things like that, and the time it takes you to prepare. No time needed if you work from home. Zero time. And what does that mean to you? And I guess it's kind of you weigh it out a little bit. If it's a job that pays $200K a year, but you require to be in the office, then what would it take for you to do that? How would you navigate that? Would it be worth it if you worked there 3-4 years? Do you see yourself working there? Is it a higher position, high growth? There's your stock options, things like that. What's the share? What's the profit sharing? Do they have profit sharing? Do they have investment capabilities? Are you fully vested? Little things like that to think about when moving from your current IT job into another IT job. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next one.